Hello! Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. How are we? Happy Sunday. Welcome to your Sunday Minecraft live stream. My name is Pixel Riffs. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend so far. We got some stuff to do. Hello. So today we are going to be doing a raid over at the museum. That's right. We got some stuff to take care of at the mob exhibit. It's been going well so far. We've got a lot of the space ironed out. I have moved some of my already captured mobs down there. So it's looking good so far, but we just got to get some stuff taken care of. I basically have like a shopping list of mobs to capture. So we're going to be doing a raid at the museum today to get all the illagers. Fingers crossed that goes okay. But first, we have some people to thank. Thank you so much, Boz, for the 17 months. Cali Cat, thank you so much for the 4 months. Ginger with the 28 at Tier 2. Poisso 3 with the 2 months. Not much longer till the update comes out, I know. And Broken Physics, 4 months. Thank you so much for the 4 months of support. Caves and Cliffs Part 1 in 2 days. Really looking forward to what you have in the months leading into Survival Guide Season 2. Indeed. I've already started on some of it. It's very, very fun. Just Pick Something Good, thank you so much for the 3 months. We've got a hype train going, folks. If anyone's interested in getting themselves some hype train emotes, then you can cheer some bits, subscribe, gift some subs, resub if you got one. Any of that stuff will get you on board the hype train. Astas, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Museum frontage is stunning. You're basically an architect. I strongly disagree, but thank you. I appreciate that. I disagree with the architect part. I'm quite happy with the front of the museum so far, but an architect I am not. When is the next RTX video and the next Skyblock? I'm basically putting both series on hold for the moment. RTX will be back. Skyblock, I don't know, because the update changes everything about Skyblock. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to start a new series or not, but in the meantime, consider Skyblock dead. Kaylee Lease, thanks so much for the 4 months. Delamith, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Yeah. So we're going to get into it right away. Starting with some survival guide action. We are on the hunt for a fox right now, which we may have to abandon that shortly because I'm running out of fireworks. But I've been killing a few mobs in the taiga just so I can try and spawn a red fox because we already have a white one. And trying to like reset the passive mobs around here has proven a little difficult. But tree coverage is making it quite difficult to see mobs from the air. So I'm not going to do too much flying around. If I can help it, I'm going to try and... There was a fire over there that I thought was a fox, but it was not. It's kind of difficult to spot them from the air. And there's a patch of pumpkins over here that I thought was a fox recently, because it was bright orange like that. But yeah, hopefully we will run into a fox sooner or later, and I can bring that back to the museum because I want to have like the significant mob variants. I find that snow foxes are somehow easier to find than tiger foxes, but I think that's because so little other stuff actually spawns in a snowy tiger versus a regular one. Don't worry about the fact that it's getting to nighttime though, because I have the mob switch on still. And I think the mob switch should persist throughout the raid, because the raid mobs are not naturally spawned. I expect that won't be an issue for doing a raid, in which case we can avoid interference from other kinds of mobs if it gets dark. And we also don't need to worry about mobs burning in the sunlight if we sleep, because raid mobs are unaffected by that as well. Yo, Tivahana, thanks so much for the 3 months in a row. Sangaroffalo with 100 bits. Etrans 510 with the Prime sub. Brand new Prime sub to the channel. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Welcome to the Pixels. You're 1 in a million. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Got there before the wolf did. Wolves get mad at foxes as well, don't they? I don't know if they like actually fight, but gonna have to keep the two separate when we actually have them at the museum. I should do a hardcore series. Well, you're in luck. I'm going to do a hardcore series basically so people can stop asking me to do a hardcore series, but also because it seems like it'll be fun. It's something temporary in between... there's the patch of pumpkins I was talking about. Something temporary in between 117 and 118 that I can sink my teeth into, as it were. But not dying should be pretty easy, so we'll give it a go. Alpenglobe, thank you so much for the 7 months. Welcome back. The problem with this taiga biome is that it's surrounded on all sides by other biomes, which might also be contributing to the amount of passive mobs in the area. So it may get a little bit difficult to spot the foxes, or spawn the foxes, rather. Take out these pigs at a distance. Maybe not that one. So it's going to be spawning other mobs elsewhere, and I was just hoping that one of them might end up being a fox. I have my mob noises on, so at least we'd be able to hear them. Normally they tend to screech at night like real foxes do. But in this case, looks like we may not be getting one. Which is fine. We can go back to the museum and we can track down a fox separately another time, or in a different place. I have a bunch around Founder's Forge. I could always bring those over. This is just closer to the museum, because I found that one of the major problems with putting together this mob exhibit has been rowing everything back to the museum site. It's not always easy to bring stuff through the nether. A nether portal is never convenient, and I don't actually have a properly established nether portal at the museum itself yet. Yeah, looks like we're not going to get one. I feel like they are being prevented from spawning by the amount of other passive mobs in the area. There's wolves and stuff as well. I don't always like killing the wolves, you know? But I feel like they contribute to the passive mob numbers. Alright, we'll take one last quick flyby. But if I need to come back and get a fox another time, then I can. I've had some success spawning foxes in the taiga area behind Founder's Forge, but I think that's larger. Can see a good handful of other mobs, but no ginger boys. Just to give you a bit of context for where we are, this is the village near which I set up my squid farm over there. The micro builds that I did in Minecraft Earth are built over there. Tried rebuilding them in this series to kind of cross-promote those videos, but they never really went anywhere, sadly. Let's catch up with the notifications. Stellar Gaming, thank you so much for the raid. Came in with a party of 8. The Fox Ornico, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Closen with the 100 bits as well. And Bimunculus with the 4 months. I really appreciate it. Welcome in if you joined us from the raid. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday. Is this a mini tour? No, this is just me trying to explain where we are. But we're not that far from the museum. And maybe if I generate a newer taiga sort of in another region of the world, I might be able to find more foxes there, because more foxes will have spawned naturally in that direction. Hey, Frog Queen, welcome in. Good to see you. So, got loads of just junk items that I can chuck in here for now. I've got some name tags just in case we come across mobs that we need to name tag, but most of them we do not. I'm going to be sleeping somewhat regularly just because it's convenient to do so. But I do need to get a thunderstorm at some point so we can capture a charged creeper. Or capture a creeper and then charge it. I'm not sure which will be safer. But obviously if we try and get a charged creeper into the mob exhibit right now, there is the potential for it to explode and let out all the other mobs. Kind of mob jailbreak. I'll show you what I've done so far, though. So we did a bit more work on this on the previous stream. Am I dropping Stardew for a bit? Just so we could finish up stuff in Minecraft before the update. That's why I haven't really been playing Stardew all that much. So we have 3 sheep, one of which is probably going to be a different colour. I was thinking about maybe putting the Jeb sheep in here as well. We got some cows, we got a pig, chickens. We're going to put a rabbit in there. We've got a horse, a wolf. That's a wolf, not a dog. And then we've got space for a bat, which would need to be fully contained in glass. I've kind of been vaguely hoping one would spawn in there, but I don't think it will. And then we've got spaces for all of the others. I still need to make a space for a llama, and the utility mobs like iron golems and snow golems don't have a space here yet. On the hostile mob side, we still need to get a skeleton. We got the zombie, the baby zombie, the chicken jockey, which is a zombie villager, a drowned in there, and a husk. Those were all the ones that were up in the main hall for a while. And I brought the spider jockey down here. That took several tries. I actually took backups of the world before doing this, and had to reset from a backup a couple of times, which you might consider cheating. I call it just not wasting my time, because this thing was a pain. Like, if you can't really move them around with water all that much, because if the water gets on the skeleton, like at head height, if its head submerges at any point, it does the same thing that happens to the player when you're in a boat and water is poured on you. You exit the boat, so the skeleton got off the spider at one point, and there's no point in doing that. They won't get back on. And then the other time, I forget what exactly happened, but I think the skeleton ended up suffocating in a block, which is such, like, this is why I've got a 2-block thick, like, glass area at the top of this exhibit, because, like, the spider will just climb a wall and suffocate the skeleton. So I had to try that. The 3rd time, though, we got it, and I'll explain that I did it multiple times in the video. We also have a phantom. The AI of phantoms is useless for displaying them. They won't ever swoop down like this. I also got an endermite because it was easy. And then the pillager, the ravager, the vindicator, and the evoker, and also probably the witch, which is going to be on the other side, are the ones that we're going to get from this raid, in theory. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm trying to do, like, small details in the dioramas to, like, add a bit of character to them, but to be perfectly honest, it is, like, at the point where I need to do this fast rather than do it pretty, because I don't want to spend too long on it, and so a lot of these are fairly basic looking, which is a shame, but obviously if I had, like, 3 more weeks to work on this before the update, then I would be able to do some more stuff. Am I planning to try and capture an invisible spider? No. I don't know if potion effects on mobs like that wear off over time. I don't know if they spawn in with a duration, but I think in theory all potion effects should have a duration. So eventually it would just become like a normal spider, right? Most of the time, like, if a spider is invisible, though, I just kill it, so I've never really had the occasion to practice. However, you could always splash the spider in the exhibit with a splash potion of your choice to make it invisible or fast or whatever, right? So I think it's, on balance, it's not going to matter whether I have all of the different possible spawning variants of mobs, because a lot of them are just going to be the type of stuff that you would be able to simulate yourself without them being unique. Unlike stuff like spider jockeys, you know? Hope that makes some sense to people. Also going to cap these off with stone brick, even though it gives you enough headroom, it's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab an ender chest. If I've left one down here, I have. I thought I had. We're going to bring this up to where I have the villagers. Now, the thing I'm worried about here, and I'm actually kind of glad that I took a backup before this again, the thing I'm worried about here is one of the waves that includes Ravagers spawning where I've got, like, the biome dioramas on the other side of here. But basically what we're going to do is start a raid using these villagers, and probably at this position. But these are the 2 villagers that I cured from zombie villagers a while ago. Hey, Nixcraft, thank you so much for 7 months. And we're going to give them job workstations. We're just going to give them both composters. So, as long as they have these nearby and have accepted them as their workstations, this should, technically speaking, count as a village. I don't think they even need beds, strictly speaking. So that guy is a farmer. I think the other one would need to pathfind to the workstation. But just one of them being a farmer should be good enough. In my experience. And we need to trap them in here, basically, so they cannot die. I don't know where that other piece of andesite went. It's in there somewhere. And what we're going to do, once we put that away and grab this, is we're going to set up a bunch of rails around them with minecarts, and I'll probably set some boats up around the place as well. And we're just going to try and capture a bunch of the illagers that way, and Ravagers that way. Going to assume that should be enough for the moment. This is going to be like Home Alone. Yeah, pretty much. Now, if I do this... Okay, it does connect that way. Cool. Just in case. We have, like, another line of defense. We want a little bit of stuff further out. Now, there's going to be one exception to the mobs listed on the Minecraft wiki. Because I've been using the Minecraft wiki, obviously, as a kind of checklist for this whole exhibit. There is one exception that is listed as its own separate mob on the Minecraft wiki that I will not be capturing from the raid. And that is a Ravager jockey, which are technically their own thing. But I don't really care for having, like, an Evoker riding a Ravager or whatever. Like, I don't see the point in... There's that piece of andesite. I don't think that's going to be a worthwhile thing to make a distinction for. Is a Vex going to be here? I mean, an Evoker is going to summon Vexes at one point, yes. Am I going to include Vexes in the museum? No, because they are not persistent. They will just die over time. I will probably include some kind of window that you can open so that the Evoker looks at you. And he will summon Vexes, but then you have to fight them yourself because there isn't really a good way to reliably contain them. Except just spamming boats around an Evoker, at which point the Vexes may not end up in them in the first place.
Well, that's just prime.
Bill, thank you so much for the 9 months. U of M, thank you for the 7. Glad you guys are enjoying the streams. Thank you so much for the support. I guess we'll just do this with blocks of redstone. I don't see why not. I mean, the why not is that it's potentially going to suffocate anything that goes through it, but... I honestly don't mind suffocating a few pillagers in the name of getting them in here. So that's basically all of this wired up. Now we need a lot of minecarts. So the idea is that we're just going to be sending a bunch of minecarts off on here. They roll around the entire thing, probably bumping into each other and creating all kinds of weird, like, Brownian motion patterns. And eventually some of the Illagers will just wander into these. Hopefully some of the Ravagers too. And then the Vindicators and the Pillagers will be easy to just name tag and leave persistent. The Ravagers should be okay. The Witch will be fine. The Evoker is the problem. And so the way you take care of an Evoker is that you set up a machine of sorts with a piston and usually a glass pane. We'll use an end rod here as an example, right? Imagine that the Evoker's head is here. What you do is you activate it like that. You push a glass pane down into the space the Evoker's head occupies, and that basically removes its field of view. It can't see outside of the center of its own head, which is weird, but that's the way it works. And that can basically pacify them if you want to just, like, leave them out in the open. Obviously, you have to make sure they can't pathfind out of that space. But that is one way of doing it. And so what I'm thinking we end up doing, in order to first pacify and then transport the Evoker, is just have, like, a line of glass, which isn't going to suffocate them, but should, like, obscure their headspace. Like a line of glass blocks like that once we've captured one. And hopefully we should be able to fight off the Vexes and stuff in the meantime. This area is so open and I'm maneuverable enough that I don't think I need to worry. So I'm going to grab a few bits and pieces out of the beacon box. Make a fresh crafting table over here. Just start making minecarts and then setting them off around the tracks here. Because, yeah, then they'll start doing stuff like this, which, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter if they, like, group up or get stopped by each other, wrap around. I think that one's getting caught on the crafting table because they're weird about blocks sometimes. But basically, as long as we have some stuff going around in a circle here, we should be fine. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Rendina with the 18 months. Thank you so much for the 18 months. Lights Lab, thank you for the 4. And now the question remains, how do we want to get Bad Omen? Because there are, of course, a couple of ways we can do that. And I was kind of hoping that we would get a pillager patrol spawning around here with the excellent timing that they often display. This is basically the Minecraft equivalent of one of those, like, desk toys you get in offices. The Newton's Cradle kind of thing. Alright, let's put this away. Let's get the good helmet out. Because we're not dealing with piglins here. Let's put some of the other stuff away. We need the name tags, but we don't need much of the rest of this. How do you activate the different waves of the raid without killing the raid? No, you kill the raid. We're basically going to be killing waves of the pillagers and whatnot until we reach a wave that has everything we want in it. The other thing you can do is take the mobs outside of the radius of the village, quote unquote, which will effectively remove them from the raid. Like, you name tag a Vindicator and Evoker, whatever, and then you just have it go off into the distance, and it will no longer count towards that wave of the raid. The radius, yes. If I turn my render distance down, that will probably help a little bit as well, because you can take them into unloaded chunks that way. Had the opposite problem where more pillagers keep walking into a raid. That is the flaw of the raid farm that I made a while back. Is that basically it's at a pillager outpost, so it keeps spawning pillagers. Which isn't a huge problem, because normally the wave of the raid charges up faster than the hostile mob spawn cycle allows for the pillagers in that radius, but... Let's take a quick look around here and see if any pillagers have spawned anywhere, because I would not be surprised if some of them were just, like, up in the roof. Why didn't any mobs spawn at night? I have a mob switch in this world. I have a bunch of zombie villagers who are persistent. I did a video all about this. It basically allows you to trap a bunch of persistent hostile mobs in the spawn chunks, and that means no hostile mobs spawn anywhere else, because the game thinks that the maximum amount of mobs the game can load has been loaded. They're just not loaded around me. It's very easy to do, actually. Easier than I expected, which is why it took me so long to do it, to be honest. Alright, I think we're going to... Hello? I love the rendering issues where the minecarts are just, like, not on the rails for a bit over here. Like, what is that? It's doing the initial D drift. So they're zombified wandering traders. I wish you could get zombified wandering traders. That'd be wild. I think we're going to just go and find a pillager outpost. But yeah, this should feel like revenge on the pillagers that I have found in the past. I know where one is that's relatively close by. When the illagers suffocate as they go over the redstone block. If they get to that central ring of rails, then probably yes, but doesn't matter a huge amount. And if we see one suffocating that we desperately need to save, then we can break the redstone blocks, I guess, which will just stop them in their tracks anyway. Or we break the tracks, which might be faster. I always like this little stretch of mushroom fields right here. There's like a tiny mushroom island, which is probably where we're going to get the mushrooms for the museum. I just need to strike one with lightning to turn it into a brown mushroom. When's the next survival guide coming? Tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last, like, tutorial episode, quote-unquote tutorial episode of the survival guide, and then on Tuesday, basically as 1.17 launches, we'll do like a final world tour video. And then that's going to be it for Season 1. And then the world download will come out when it's ready. Which will not be for about a month, probably. I'm also keeping my eyes out for any passive mobs that we still need, like donkeys, and like if we breed a donkey with a horse, then we can get a mule that way. My main problem is the pandas and ocelots, because those both have to come from a jungle biome that is minimum 3,000 blocks away from the museum. Is the world download only for Java or for Bedrock too? I hope to make one available for Bedrock as well. Obviously, a lot of the stuff in terms of like farms and whatnot is not going to work on Bedrock, but it will at least be playable for people with Windows 10 mobile. It's not going to be on the marketplace. It'll be like a MC World file that you download. But I don't want to put it on the marketplace. The marketplace is cluttered enough as is without perpetuating my own ridiculousness. So, here's one. It occurs to me that they aren't going to be passively spawning around here, are they? Yeah, that's a problem. Guess I better go back to my spawn chunks. Oh! Pink sheep. It's a rare occurrence. The pink sheep for good luck. I hope so. I should transport it. I mean, you can literally dye a white sheep pink and nobody will know the difference. It's not like it gets tagged pink sheep. It is just a different color of sheep. Like, it's cool and all, but I'm not bringing everything back to the museum if I can just recreate it there. MBT tags can tell if it was dyed or not. Yeah, but I don't expect everybody walking around the museum to be checking entity data for all of the stuff I've put in there. And if you do, fair play to you, but I don't think the pink sheep is significant enough to bring one however thousand many blocks back from wherever I find it. And honestly, I think I've seen one spawn that's like closer, so it's probably still there. This has been eaten by a wolf already. Llamas. Will I do a full museum tour in a 360 video? Nah, I'm done with the 360 video as a format. That video took me 4 days to make, just rendering stuff. So I don't see the point in continuing to take up my computer's rendering hours with a video format that takes YouTube 7 years to process as well. Could have saved that ghast, I suppose, but there'll be more. Need some of these guys as well. But again, there will be more. Imagine people coming to the museum with peaceful mode and just think I haven't put anything in the mob exhibit. That's entirely possible. Although I don't know if I give out the world download as a Java world, if it will be locked on hard for them, because it is for me. Like, I cannot change the difficulty in this world. Doesn't let me. Is it possible to install a mob switch in the Nether? Yes, but I don't think the Nether has the equivalent of, like, a spawn chunks that stays constantly loaded, so you would need to have some sort of chunk loader. But I think that is possible to do quite easily as well. It's not something I've ever done, but... Excuse me, gents. Need you on this side of the line, please. Cool. We got one in there, it's fine. He's not going to take up the mobcat by himself. Alright, welcome back to the game, I guess. Trying to think if there's a pillager outpost between here and the museum. I don't know if there is, because I don't think I generated any new chunks between here and there in 1.14. Yeah, not going to worry about it. Beta not found, thank you for the 4 months. Messages to remind people to drink their hot beverage before it goes cold. A welcome reminder. I'll drink to that. Or I will when I'm not flying around, anyway. Trying to think how I can get over to that spot quickest. Not by going that way, because that's entirely the wrong direction. You know what? I think the furthest nether portal I've made in the east... Oh, look at all the striders. Aren't they lovely? I think the furthest east I've really gone is the museum. Alright, shut up. Look at all the zombie pigmen playing as well. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever been much further than this without going like a great deal south. See, this is why people are all like, oh, why do you always wear a gold helmet? Like, it's because of this. Cannot be bothered with this. Every time. Know when the first 117 miniseries episode is coming out? Wednesday. Assuming that the release goes ahead for Tuesday. Minecarts are still going. What's up with the sky bed? It's just a bed so I can sleep at the drowned farm because drowned behavior changes at night. During the day, drowned are unable to track towards players who aren't standing in water. But during the night, they behave like normal zombies. So it affected the, we'll say, the capture rate of the drowned farm because they would be able to pathfind towards me, which meant they didn't leave the water sources overhead. So sleeping regularly at a drowned farm is recommended. Season 2 of the Minecraft Survival Guide, will I review everything I already did in the first season? What do you mean by review, please? Because basically Season 2 is going to be the same kind of material as Season 1, right? Like, I'm going to start a series with the assumption that the viewer is new to Minecraft and needs to learn about it. I'm not going to be continuing where we left off in this season, because then I would make, like, maybe 20 or 30 episodes out of the content that you get in 117 and 118, but then we'd be caught up, and then it'd just be back to what it is right now, where I need to spend 3 or 4 days on a video because the projects have to be so big. See you later, Nixcraft. Thank you so much for the 200 bits. Appreciate you as always. I don't know what I'm going to build in Season 2. Season 2 is currently up to 6 months away. So I have no real ideas yet about what the content of Season 2 is going to be beyond it's going to be another survival guide. Hey, cool, we have Bad Omen now. Let me grab some more fireworks for my journey back. Do I ever go through my screenshot folder and have a laugh about weird stuff? Sometimes. I try and use those screenshots for my go live notification that I post on YouTube. So today, for example, there is a picture of a pillager aiming a crossbow at me while I have the museum roof half built, which is a screenshot I took from the creative copy of the world when I was still trying to work out the roof design, but pillager patrols would still spawn because they just do. Still not sure what we're going to do on Tuesday's stream, by the way, assuming that I will stream on Tuesday. Because that's going to be the day that 1.17 comes out. And I said that it would be kind of fun to have a watch party of all of the episode 1s that I've done in Minecraft series across my YouTube channel, so we might end up doing that instead. But obviously there will still be stuff for me to do at the museum. So we could always spend a bit more time doing that. I might see if we can do a poll or something on Twitter or on YouTube and ask what kind of thing people want to see. What if I accidentally fly on top of a village? I know where all the villages are, so it's unlikely. I'm specifically taking a route through here that doesn't involve going past a village. A lot of the stuff between here and that pillager outpost is just swamp and stuff anyway, so... Swamp and ocean. Oh yeah, and the ruin portal looks great, doesn't it? I always like the really large ones. I think it's a really nice reminder that you can build a portal that isn't just a 14-block rectangle, you know? No, K-Mac, I have no idea when the next season of Hermitcraft starts. Presumably they will spend a bit of time recording videos in either 1.17 full release, or if they might have like started pre-releases already. So they might have stuff ready to go day one. They might be taking a week or two off to kind of recharge their batteries, as it were. I don't know. Alright. Time to turn down friendly creature sounds, because that's what minecarts are, apparently. And let's see where the waves of this raid come from. Well, there's some over there. We don't need any of these guys, so it's fine whatever happens to them. Some of them are going to go for a ride. Others not so much. It's going to become a carousel of death in a minute. The Vindicator doesn't know where he's going. How are you still accurate? I can't tell if I've set the minecart on fire or the pillager, but I think it's the minecart. Having to lead the shot a little bit here. Man, it's weird hearing mob noises around here again. Yep, that minecart is definitely on fire. Didn't know that was a thing that could happen. See, we're still learning. This is fine.png. Anyway, this guy's got to come and do his thing. Alright, wave 2. This is fine cart. Very good. Of course, we can take advantage of the fact that the illagers can't really jump by just hopping on top of here. Oh, hey, look. It's almost as though that's a normal patrol. I do like the Vindicator just hustling his cronies off the roof. It's very normal pillager energy. Not going to rely on my bow for all of this, because I haven't repaired it recently. Probably shouldn't rely on my elytra as much as I am either, but... Always such a brutal sound. Where's the last guy? He's in here trying to craft his own axe. Wants to be a Vindicator. How many more episodes of Survival Guide are left? 2. One about the mob exhibit, and the other one is probably going to be a world tour. Sorry, I just grabbed my mouse again after that. Alright, where next? There they are. Don't know where he's going. Well, we got a Ravager already. So that's going to end up in a minecart in a second. There it goes. Beautiful. Oh, I've set the minecart on fire again. How are these guys becoming somehow more protected by being in a minecart that's on fire? Oh, we got a witch underground somewhere as well. But I don't think she's part of the raid. Although she might become part of the raid. I think that might be how that works, if I recall correctly. Alright, he's down. We have him. And then one raider remains, which is the Ravager, hence why it's taking up so much of the raid bar here. Okay. Cool. Let me name tag you. There we go. And then go sleep real fast. While we're at it, we could potentially capture a skeleton and a spider. Come here, gents. This way, please. Oh, they're eager. They want to turn up in the exhibits here. That's fair. Follow me, if you don't mind. Oh, dang it, they shot each other. I knew that was going to happen. Mob spawning naturally around here feels weird now. It does. It really does. Hey, you. Actually, if you... I mean, you could do that. That's also a thing you could do. No, keep going, keep going. Come on. Come on, buddy. That's right. Just come in here for a second, please. Problem is, come around the corner like this is maybe going to... No, keep coming, keep coming. See if we can make this work. Gotta line up, line up. There we go, there we go. Good lad. Oh, nearly. He nearly made it in there. I think he just had to come out here to, like, realign his shot because I was suddenly out of range, but that was almost what I wanted. No, that's right, go in, go in. Go in, you fool. The skeleton must have, like, half a heart of health left as well. It's so funny. That's it, keep going, keep going. Don't make me put you in a boat. You know I will. I don't have any boats on me. I just want to... I want to be able to use his own AI to maneuver him into this hole. Yes! Yes, we did it. You are now property of the museum. Congratulations. Brilliant. Man, I love this game. I love this game so much. Oh, skeletons. You absolute fools. Any spiders? There's one over there. May as well get the spider while we're at it. Oh, there's a creeper here too. Incredible. Creeper's going to need a little bit more prep, but arguably easier to get in there than the skeleton was, so. Oh wait, we got another one here. Fantastic, even better. Just follow me, lads. Down the stairs if you would. Thank you. Oh, we got company. Keep coming, that's right. Got a space earmarked for you down here. You need to go in there, buddy. Come on. Hello? Norman? Now this is going to be fun. Nope, didn't think so. Stay in. No, the husk. He got out. I always forget you can't ender pearl past mobs very well. Excuse me. The husk is going to put me in the boat. Yeah, I think having a creeper in a minecart is probably going to be the best solution. No, you know what we need to do? Easiest way to do this is probably going to be to go out the other side where there isn't an exhibit yet. I like the fact that this was the creeper exhibit and it's now blown up, though. That's pretty funny. Could be worse. That could have been the chicken jockey exhibit. Getting a little bit sidetracked from the raid here, aren't we? I mainly came over here to sleep. But notice how right now we're outside of, like, the raid area. So my theory is, if we move the Ravager over here, it won't count anymore. I think that's the way it worked when I've moved them before. May as well see if we can get another creeper. Excuse me, gents. Not you. Thanks. Would you, yeah, okay, thanks. Alright, bit of a lag spike there, nothing to worry about. What am I going to do about ghasts? Bring one through a nether portal? So that guy's going to wander around for a second here. Should give me enough time to fix up his exhibit. The husk has a visitor, which is pretty funny. Down here, buddy. I know, it's nice, isn't it? Come on. Honestly, I could have spawned half of these down here, but, like, would have been miraculous if they'd end up in the right place. Hey, there's a couple of creepers in there. You're not an Enderman. Get out of there. Let's see if he's walked out into the corridor yet. Nope, he didn't. One last thing we have to do, for which I will probably swap my shield out real fast. Come here. There we go. Just so he doesn't despawn. That's not my shield. There it is. If it was your world, you'd just use spawn eggs. Yeah, but it's your world. We do not use spawn eggs on my world. Anyway, back to the raid. Where were we? It's an Indiana Jones switch we pulled on the creeper. Yeah, not too bad. Get this guy out of the way for now. We're going to need to do that with a charged creeper later, and that's going to be the real test. Alright, so we need more rails, first of all. More rails and a bit more redstone. All of this is going to be very temporary though, so hopefully this will be fine. Well, he's persisted, which is nice. So I guess the best thing we could do is cause a pile up over here to start with. We'll store the rest of these minecarts on the, what I'm going to refer to as the central line. I assume if we start placing rails over the top of magma blocks, the Ravager will take damage. So I don't really want that. So we're going to have him go through the other side of the bastion, past the end city. These don't all need to be powered rails, of course, but I'm glad we have an excess. And of course, the ideal scenario is that if he doesn't have to stop at all. Alright, a little bit more powered rail, I think. We have some. I'm going to do this way because, alright, inconvenient though it is, I think passengers in minecarts will still take full damage. And I would prefer if this Ravager took as little damage as possible. Okay. We're going to have this double back around because the Ravager is going here on the corner because he's a large mob and needs a bit of space. Doesn't actually have any more space than any of the other things, but at least allows visitors to see him from two sides. What mobs other than a Vex can I not display at all in the museum? Wandering Trader. In theory, I could display him at the museum if I logged out while a Wandering Trader was still here. But I, yeah, honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm operating under the assumption that I will most likely not be able to provide a Wandering Trader for people to look at. I'm going to assume we will need some headroom here. I'm also going to assume that I'll need to light it up right now because we're being visited by other mobs. Okay. So from the relative position of some of these sound effects, I'm going to assume that we're in roughly the right place. If we pop out over here... Perfect. Because he's riding down the middle of the rail, I'm also going to assume that we need to build this 3 blocks wide. Otherwise he's going to take suffocation damage, both as he goes around corners and then in every block of the wall on the way down here. But I think that should be alright. The raid is still ongoing, it sure is. Oops. So the other problem with having a beacon here is you kind of tear your own build up on occasion. Gotta give him plenty of space. Let him accelerate into the turn. You know what, we'll put this on the inside so it can power both sections of rail. Alright, that should be enough to get us to the end. This Ravager is about to go on the ride of his life. Imagine how upsetting it would be if Ravagers destroyed rails. Is this multiplayer? No. This is a single player world. Man, I'm not used to having mobs around anymore. I'm worried every time I go to bed now. Okay. let's send this guy off on his grand adventure. I'm not certain if we break that rail and... Will we place a block there? No. No, his hitbox isn't going to allow it, unfortunately. And the momentum of the other minecarts won't do it whilst there is something in there, so we are just going to have to run into him. There we go. Let's follow our new friend on his adventure. Oh! Of course, we hit a section of rail that wasn't powered. Forgot to place the power sources for the rest of this. Oh, or place any of the turning sections of track. That was a good move. Okay, that doesn't reach the other side. Okay, fair enough. I guess because it was already powered, right? That's how that works. Missing it by one piece each time. I don't use rails enough to really understand what, like, the limits are. Like, I understand it in theory, I just don't have that stuff, like, memorized or anything. By the way, this is why I built a mob switch, so structures like this don't have to be, like, fully lit up. Because I cannot imagine how annoying it would be to light all of the different areas of a bastion. Like, bastions are built like that so that mobs spawn in them. You can just spam the redstone blocks at this point. I think everything from there onwards is either powered or downhill, so it doesn't matter. Alright, let's try take 2. Hey bud, I'm over here if you don't mind doing the thing you do, where you... Hi. Hello? Alright, fine. He just wasn't going to attack me that time, I guess. He's accepted his fate. Oh, took a bit of damage on the bastion there. Bit of suffocation damage. Hopefully that won't be an issue once we get in. If not, that really just costs me a name tag. Alright, buddy, in you go. Sweet deal. Just gonna check he's not suffocating in any blocks when he's down there. Nope, he is in that room. Good luck taking out the minecart, though. Gonna make an attempt. Oh, yikes. Bow, maybe? Maybe. Alternative, because I don't think he's taken a whole lot of damage. Maybe from underneath? Maybe. There's, I don't think I can place activator rail there. And powering it is also a problem at that stage. But the other option is using a sword, because sweep attack on a sword will probably damage the minecart enough if I hit it. No, unfortunately not. Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, we'll resolve that problem later. I want to go and see if the raid is still active. Because if it is, we will need to break some of the minecart lines at some point to make sure we don't deliver more stuff directly to the Ravager exhibit. But for now, we have a Ravager that is officially property of the museum. Make a wooden sword, use a stone pick. You guys are full of helpful suggestions today. I'm going to keep the majority of this rail line intact because, of course, we will need to bring more stuff over in exactly the same fashion. Just going to cut it off at a few key points here. But now, as you can see, the waves of the raid have continued. An Evoker is going to be tough to transport. You are correct. An Evoker is honestly the main thing I'm worried about here. Let's go and find a chest, or make a chest. Just to put some of this spare junk in. Has this one got stuff in it right now? Oh, okay, it's fine. Yeah, once we get onto the wave of the raid that has an Evoker in it, we're basically just going to have to rewire the track from scratch right there and then. Alright, we took out a minecart there. I think we have one more witch around, unless I killed both of them. Come back. Come back. There'll be more opportunities to get Vindicators. Yeah, we have 2 raiders left. One of which I think is down here. Or maybe they're in the Nether Fortress. Yep, oh, I see a Vindicator in there. Well, that might be a good one to capture for now, because at the moment we don't have anything putting the villagers in imminent danger. Looks like a horrific fairground ride. The one minecart being on fire is doing a very good job at giving that impression. Yeah, I think we might try and capture this guy. All we need to do is get him to run after me, which shouldn't take much persuading. Hello? I think he's targeting the villagers right now. Alright, there'll be more of you. Very confused all of the time, those guys. Meanwhile, back at the carousel. Alright, this is our first Evoker. The problem is getting him into a minecart. Basically, everything else about the raid is something that we can reproduce easily. But the Evokers are the tough part. Luckily, the tracks are far enough out that the Evoker isn't really trying to attack the villagers. I think Evokers are typically more inclined to attack players anyway. So we have a little bit of time here to rewire our tracks. Where does the Evoker need to go? He's basically right next to the Ravager, so all we need to do is drop him in a cart just above that. And this time we should be able to do it with activator rail. Of course he moves. I think that'll work. I have one data pack which prevents Enderman from picking up blocks. That's the only data pack I have in this world right now. For people who are asking in the chat. I think they should land there. It should be fine. Will glass really stop an Evoker from aggroing? Yes. It's pretty straightforward. Put a block between you and him, he can't see you. Thought I was going to get him with the second shot there, but he died in the spot where the arrow fell, so it works. Problem now is getting the Evoker into a minecart. For which I kind of need to pick up some minecarts. Man, those guys still hit hard. Oh, he was so close to the corner right then. Basically playing Ring Around the Rosie with this Evoker. It's going to be the difficult part. Snagdad, thank you so much for 25 months. The thing about the Evoker is he's not going to come anywhere close to the villagers. I also think my raid timer has just run out now. So we don't need to worry about future waves of the raid, at least. If he doesn't pathfind over here and get into a minecart kind of his own volition, I'm not sure what we do. Not sure what our best option really is. Invisibility potions will only work until you get really close to them, and I need to get close to him in order to, like, loop a minecart around him. The thing about invisibility potions is they don't make you invisible, they just lower the mob's detection radius to, like, a block or two. But if you're, like, in a boat with an Evoker, then he'll know you're there. Vixen, thank you so much for 28 months. It's going to be so weird to see you leave this world, but new world and new projects hype. Indeed, indeed. I am really excited to show you what we've got planned. Boat to immobilize, then direct train tracks to him. I think it might be easier to just surround him in blocks right now. I mean, a boat will start off as a good option. Because then at least he can't, like, run away from me when I place blocks around him. Does invisibility work on the dragon? Yeah, the dragon's always pretty far away from you. Shoot him with a slowness arrow. Unfortunately, my bow is quite powerful. I don't really have any slowness arrows immediately available. Appreciate the suggestion, though. Can a player create a village? Would villagers spawn in that village, Java Edition? No, villagers don't naturally spawn. You can create a village by curing zombie villagers, though. Which is very easy to do if you have the right materials. Hey, NOC Pog, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. Our second raid of the day. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Folks who've just joined, welcome to the stream. We are currently trying to capture various illagers from a raid for my museum project. We have an Evoker over there, and I'm trying to weigh up my options for how we capture him without hurting him. But we have all of the train tracks and stuff set up, so as long as we can get him into a minecart without getting too badly damaged by Vexes, we should mostly be okay. Splash Potion Turtle Master, I mean, on me or him? Right, well that's a boat in entirely the wrong place. Vexes are a little bit easier to fight when you're on home turf. I feel. Also, last time I did a raid, I don't believe I had netherite. Where's he gone? Ah. Yeah, he's in a cave now. Good. It's them having iron swords that does it, really. Velastic with the 12 months. Thank you so much for the 12-month resub. Welcome to the Nerd Herd. Everyone spam the word nerd in the chat if you aren't already. This is caveman. He is a caveman. The problem with this is if we have to do another raid to get another Evoker, because we can't, like, drive him out of this cave, then we have to go through the previous waves of the raid again, which is a little bit frustrating. There being other hostile mobs around here is also kind of an annoyance. Yeah, he's gone deeper into this cave. I think at this point it's just going to be better to cut our losses and do another raid. Like, I genuinely feel like that's going to be the case. Because, like, where even is he right now? Unless we rewire our entire minecart track to go underneath here. He should still be persistent, but with the raid gone, I don't know if they despawn or not. Now, the mob switch doesn't prevent raids. They are player-activated events. But unfortunately, the mob switch prevents pillager captains from spawning. So I can't get the stuff I need to trigger the raid in the first place. I can't get bad omen without a pillager captain being there. Cosmic, thank you for the 38 months. How do we get this guy out of the cave, chat? I feel like other than building a minecart track around him, there's not a whole lot I can do here. Just going to throw out some of this junk. Best to kill him and start a new raid? I mean, probably, yes. Armor's fine. Good XP. Still Vex is around, though. MD Cross, 99. Thank you for the 4 months. Vexes. You know, we're going to need to start another raid anyway, because if this one has technically ended, we're going to need Vindicators and Evokers. Or Pillagers, rather, sorry. Did the Vex just die? Subtitles don't hear it anymore, so I assume so. Yeah, I think we're going to have to kill him. I need to repair my bow. And then we'll try another raid. Oh, he's like under there now. Yikes. Kill him to get the totem. I have tons of totems. I have a raid farm. I don't need totems. He's going to join the next raid as well. What I plan on doing is activating the mob switch again, despawning everything, going under there and seeing if there is an easy way to extract him. Because you can get Vindicators and Pillagers from the first wave of a raid, so if we don't have to do the next couple of waves, then I will be happier. I have string. Good. Keep forgetting it's Pride. Happy Pride, everyone. Yes, everyone spam your Pride emotes in the chat if you got them. Got Pride emotes here for this channel, or at least one. You want to sip on some tea? On the diagonal, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Blackberry Cheese Dog. You chose somebody with an excellent name. So that is commendable effort, if nothing else. My Patreon server is resetting for 117, yes. Alright, let's hunt this lad down if he's still there. If he's despawned along with the rest of the mobs, then we know, I guess. Do I have a full world tour somewhere? The last one I did was episode 300, and even that was not necessarily a full world tour because it was also a 360-degree video, and there are a lot of things in this world. The footage took a long time to render. Love all the colourful Pride emotes? Always. Always. It always takes a minute or two to load over here. That was weird. There was a cow and a pig in sort of the same place. And for a second it looked like there was a Vindicator riding a pig. And I got very confused. Alright, let's see if this gent is still under here or if he's despawned. I don't immediately see or hear him. There is a zombie groaning somewhere, but that's probably just something that's picked up an item. If we get attacked by Vexes under here, I'm not going to be happy. No, I think he has despawned. Yeah, here we go. Zombie holding rotten flesh, it looks like. Probably a couple of those around here, but they're nothing to worry about. This was the cave he came into, and he like wandered through here somewhere. I think he was trying to get under the village. Seems likely for their AI to try and do. Alright, round 2 then, I guess. Which once again will necessitate going back to spawn and switching off the mob switch. But at least this time we're going straight for the Evoker. Or alternatively, we could capture the Pillager and the Vindicator in the meantime. Block it off so the next guy doesn't try the same thing. That seems like a good idea, yes. What's the machine do? It captures raid mobs in minecarts. Basically, they try and run in towards the center of the village. They pretty much always run into a minecart. Not really a machine so much as it is a trap. When you built a flat base for a project, you got obsessed with filling all the space underneath. Yeah, I honestly considered doing more of that for the museum because of the amount of dark space that was under there, but I figured when it got to this phase of the game, alright, we got a couple in there, that's fine. I figured once we got to this point, I was not going to have the time to do it anyway. Where do I get my iron from? This iron farm. And this iron farm doesn't work anymore, but I've had the iron farm running for so long in this series that I had enough iron backlogged. The design should still work, it's just that in this case I turned it off by sealing the zombies up. A kind of lo-fi way of doing it. And so the villagers were happier and they sleep every night, but now the most recent update has changed the locations that some mobs get out of beds and what blocks they see as obstructed. So, yeah, the villagers no longer end up in that water source 100% of the time. And so, yeah, that kind of broke the farm a little bit. Sorry, the Evoker escaped. It's fine. Won't be the first or the last time something like that has happened. No, we're not doing Hermitcraft Recap this weekend. It comes out on Sundays usually, but we are taking a break this week because you should just go and watch the finales of all of the Hermits, to be honest. There are like 2 or 3 people still making videos on the server, and most of them have released their final episodes by now. It wasn't really worth recapping everybody if they weren't all finishing at the same time. One of Joe Hills's community basically did an individual Hermitcraft Recap style episode just for Joe, which I thought was really great. I actually messaged Loy and was like, can this person just take over from me for Season 8? Joking, but still, every now and then I look around at the community and I'm like, who would be good at doing the recap? Because it's not something I intend to do forever. Like, Liara has helped out before. The Pigglesworth has voiced a couple of recaps. System Z has voiced a couple of recaps. Nashcrafter. There's a good handful of people have helped out with the recap in the past. And there will come a point at which it is no longer something I wish to do. Not to say that my love for Hermitcraft will die or anything, just that you do something like that for long enough, it just becomes a bit of a on balance, like a bit of a, not a chore as such, like it's kind of difficult to describe, but it just becomes one of those things that you do for the sake of it rather than doing because it's actually fun or worth your time. It hasn't got to that point for me yet, but I kind of want to stop before it does, you know? The problem is there's never a convenient time to quit a project like that because, you know, the sensible time to do it would be like at the end of a season so that you don't have a weird transition mid-season to another presenter, but then if you leave at the end of a season, then you miss out on all of the hype of a new season starting, so there's really no good time to do it. Did I get an Evoker? No, the Evoker ended up running away to the extent that I could not catch him. So what we're going to do is take some stone and probably some grass and just lightly terraform the edge of this so that there aren't any caves that the raiders can run into. Does the mob cap increase with more players? Yes, in theory. So the majority of that should be fine. This doesn't have any caves that they could wander into. Yeah, I think we'll be alright if we keep the village location here. Still got plenty of minecarts, so... Yeah, the Evoker despawned after the raid ended. I think those mobs only stay persistent for the duration that the raid bar stays on screen. And I think because I didn't clear the waves fast enough, and there was one mob and he probably wandered off far enough, to be honest, that the raid basically just ended without a victory or defeat condition. What if there were 4 content creators voicing the recap and you would rotate every week? It's not necessarily to do with voicing the recap, because there are more things to do than just read a script. The script has to be written by somebody, and right now I co-write the script, because when hermits tend to make a lot of content, like usually at the start of a season, it is bigger than the work of one person to be able to watch and take notes and write a script for everything. Zloy used to do it back when we started in Season 4, but by that point we picked up the recap basically mid-Season 4. By Season 5 we were co-writing it because it was just a lot of work for one person to do. So the replacement would have to be somebody who was able to watch all of Hermitcraft, or like half of the folks on Hermitcraft, and contribute to writing the script as well as voicing things. And doing that with 4 people on rotation would be A, a lot of work, and B, very difficult to calculate their revenue share. Because right now the Hermitcraft Recap's revenue is split a certain way between myself and Zloy, based on the fact that he does more work, being the editor as well as co-writer and everything else. Just become a full-time Hermitcraft watcher? Oh yes. A good career option. What are my views on Third Life SMP? I have watched maybe one episode. I just haven't had the time. But honestly, if you're looking for me to have any kind of like hot take or controversial opinion on anything, you're going to find yourself disappointed. My takes are lukewarm at best. We're in a different desert now. But I think this may be the one that had the pillager outpost that I took down. If I did, it wasn't here. Alright. Weird location for a desert temple, basically 2/3 of the way into a plains. It's a fresh village, though. Solid blacksmith chest. I always check. It's always worth checking. Tepid takes, yes. Where am I going? I honestly don't know. I'm trying to find a pillager outpost, and I flew directly to it the last couple of times. This time, not so much. I have a feeling it was near a savannah. But then, aren't they all? That is a fairly common feature of deserts in this game. So there's the desert temple I took out. So the Hemi outpost is right here. So now all we have to do is find a lad with a banner on his head, and we're in business. Which there is one on the outskirts. Fantastic.
Well,
good position for you. One-shot him as well. Very nice. Oh hey, a wandering trader. We got pillager outposts. We got wandering traders selling podzol and tube coral. Not bad. Red sand trade as well. You know what? I might actually have some. Thanks for the 24 sand, my dude. Make red sand renewable, please. Why is the outpost cut in half? I took down most of the materials from it, but I couldn't take out the foundation because I hadn't built a mob switch yet. But I tore down most of that to deconstruct the outpost and rebuild it at the museum. Both so I could have the right materials for it, and so I could kind of get like a cross-section of what the thing actually looked like on the inside. Because sometimes if you're inside a structure, even taking screenshot after screenshot, it's kind of difficult to gauge its components, like what actually makes it the structure that it is. Spilled pizza? No, I'm going to use a different world seed. I don't see the point in doing another series on the same world. If nothing else, I'd find it creatively stifling. Because part of the point in having a new world for me in this game is reacting to all of the new stuff that it gives you. If the landscape was familiar to me, I would feel less inspired by it. I'd just want to end up rebuilding the same stuff again and see how I can do it better, I guess. But yeah, it's not the kind of thing I'm interested in doing. Don't really have anything I can use to make a bed, do I? Kind of prefer to return to the museum during the day. Is the moon just rising? Yeah. I don't have an ender chest on me. Could kill a couple of local sheep. You see the creeper pack spawns. you ever get multiple wool from killing a sheep with looting 3? Asking for a friend. Apparently not. That's not a sheep, that's a skeleton. And those are chickens. So we're not off to the greatest of starts here. It's a slime, though. How would you feel about coming with me on an adventure? Can you put a slime in a boat, first of all? Other than this boat, I mean. Hey, bud. Get in this. Well, he's not putting himself in the boat, is he? Well, this gives me an idea for something to do. Doing the backstroke there for a second. Sorry, just needed a bit of that I could capture for the episode. My chicken is getting wet. I'm brining it. I'm brining it. You should always brine your chicken. See how long we can keep this up. Now you know that slimes float. I mean, it's a logical assumption to make about these guys. Do you think it's going to be faster getting it to go over land? I mean, when there's not hostile mobs around?
Well, that's just prime.
Rockin' 2 Robin, thank you so much for the 7 months of Prime. Good morning to you. Nice technique. A regular Michael Phelps, me. This is at least a good way to pass the night. So we don't end up returning to the museum in the middle of the night with all of the mobs spawning. And bad omen. Any tips on how to fly out of water? You always just get in an ocean and get stuck. Once you've landed in the water, you'll start bobbing up and down on the surface if you hold space, and then you've just got to like reach the top of your bob and then hit space as you're like bobbing back down, and that should be enough to get the elytra to activate. It's kind of difficult to show you right now because mine are still on. Have I connected a lead to the slime? Nope, you can't lead them. They're hostile mobs. Got a drowned here as well. It'd be cool if you could bounce on slime mobs. If you could, like, Mario stomp them, that'd be super fun. This game needs more things that you can Mario stomp, in my opinion. It is the video game way to interact with enemies. I tell you one thing I'm not going to do in whatever world I start next. Whether it be the hardcore miniseries or probably even Survival Guide Season 2. Is I'm not going to build my main base at spawn. Like, I'm actually going to leave spawn for technical stuff. Or at least, if I do build my main base at spawn, it's going to be a small one and it's not going to have villagers. Because right now I could just go back to spawn and switch off mob spawning again, were it not for the fact that I have a massive villager trading hall right next to my mob switch, which helped in creating the mob switch, but is also not very helpful in activating or deactivating it in circumstances like this. I think I might have to kill these drowned. Let's lead the slime away from the ravine. Tired of looking at slimes because you just built a farm? Unfortunately, swimming backwards, you are ever so slightly slower than the slime. But swimming forwards, you're ever so slightly faster. What's the slime's name's going to be? Property of the Museum is what I've been naming most of them. So one thing I'll do differently in my new world, apart from my base at spawn, probably a different build style. I expect we'll go for something a bit more modern or contemporary. Or just come up with something that feels a little bit different. But, yeah, as I said in my last YouTube episode, one of the things I want to do for future series is just start planning my builds in creative before I build stuff in survival. I think that's going to be an essential part of my planning process for the next series that I end up doing. Skeleton's going to be on fire anyway. Alright. Success. We made it. Scared me for a second. Oh good, I've got turtles here as well. I didn't realise that I had turtles here. I left my boat over there, I think. Out of the way, turtle friend. I'm coming through with the slime. Hot on my heels. There's one persistent slime. He sure is. He's followed me all the way from the swamp. He's a big guy as well. Could have brought slimes from the swamp nearby, the one where I tested the diamond mining method. Surprise, that was the swamp nearby. It's funny how geography works, isn't it? Bring him through the front door. The main trick now is going to be getting him to not jump down the middle, which is going to be made easier by the fact that I built a giant minecart track there, I suppose. You get under there, buddy? I'm gonna have to break that block there, aren't I? There we go. Oh, well, this is going to be a tough bit. Useful tip if you actually want to do this yourself and you want to avoid hitting the mobs with your tools is start your click early. So point your tool at the blocks that you want to break and then like look around. Oh, he's so squishy. Rather than like clicking on each individual block. Alright, he should be good from here. Yeah, no problem. Alright, where is the slime cell in here? Slime, here we go. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Come here. Need a big old gap for him, I think. But luckily this should take... Well, he's still there. Should take very little effort to get him in here. Getting out is going to be another story. I like whenever any of them like start pathfinding towards any of the other exhibits. And it's like they're just like hanging out with their friends. Slime. Persistent slime. Alright, let's go and resolve the raid. Just gonna throw the wool on the ground. Mutton 2. Do we have stone brick slabs in any of these? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. I'll get rid of those for the moment. Oh, I guess I could put them back as well. Could tidy up after myself. On the diagonal, thank you for the 100 bits. Appreciate you showing some love. Oh boy, yeah, I made a mess of this, didn't I? Alright, that seemed to work out. Let's aim to get the Evoker and Vindicator... Not the Evoker, the Pillager and the Vindicator figured out first. Because while they will sometimes appear in Pillager patrols, you don't get Vindicators in those in Java Edition. Even on hard, so... What shader am I using? I'm not. Other than the fact that Java always uses shaders, I guess, because that's how a game is drawn. When will the museum be done? It's probably going to take me a few weeks after the 1.17 update comes out. I'm going to be taking my time with it. Alright, that guy's dead. Novel though it is, I don't really want to keep the Vindicator with the Pillager Captain banner. Like the raid captain. So we won't bother with him. We'll get some guys in the second wave. Hey, Yogab Fab is here. Hello. Yo, Fab Gab, sorry. I mixed the two up in my head. Alright, we have one pillager. So as long as we keep him and probably this guy. How am I? I'm good, thank you, yeah. Having a grand old time with my carousel of crossbow dudes. Excited for the next Minecraft update to arrive on Tuesday. Got some cool stuff planned, but we're trying to give the 1.16 world a good send-off. Alright, so he's good. The question is, do we just loop this guy? He's going to get mad at me and run towards me, but he doesn't like crossing rails. I think he's also a bit confused by life. I mean, to be quite honest, life is confusing right now for him. Just relax there, buddy. Oh, okay, you're the raid captain now. I'm the captain now. Well, that kind of makes you a dud candidate for this anyway, so. I don't really want the guys with the banners. Am I doing a special event for Tuesday? Not especially, no, because the things I want to do are all things that I want to do on my YouTube series, so I won't be able to stream that stuff instantly, because then, like, suddenly I've made a start on a world that the YouTube channel doesn't get to see, and YouTube is kind of my main gig, so Twitch is where I do all the behind-the-scenes work for YouTube, specifically. While the raid is still going on, we should be able to drop a pillager in here. I forget exactly where they went. Okay, far end. Over about 7 or 8 blocks from the Ravager, and then a little bit over that way. Oh, we've got some more rails in here we can use. How am I going to give a good send-off to 1.16? By not playing it anymore. No, I mean, on this stream, we're just trying to do some fun stuff just to prepare for getting the museum finished, but that's it, really. Why am I not continuing this world in 1.17? Because the survival guide is kind of old now. The world has been going for 3 years, and I planned on ending the series when I got the museum done, basically. I've generated enough of the world that even if I delete chunks, I do have to go quite a long distance before I encounter any new terrain for any of the new features, geodes, copper, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that stuff is going to be better explored in a new world. Aside from which, yeah, I planned on ending this series when the Caves and Cliffs update arrived. Which, I mean, part of it is, of course. But, yeah, honestly, I feel like the series is running out of steam a little bit. It does feel kind of strange expecting people to turn up to episode 300 and something of a series to get new content. And so I think it's the right thing to do. And obviously, like, there's a lot of people who are going to be sad that we're leaving this world behind, but I think ultimately it's the fun thing to do. Start something new. Something that people can watch from episode 1. It's not like a Let's Play, it's a tutorial Let's Play. Yeah, exactly. There are going to be people who continue their worlds into the next update. There are going to be some people who leave their worlds behind. There are some people who reset their world on every update, which is something I can't imagine doing because, like, honestly, I am really happy having a longer term world. I feel a lot happier having done things this way. Yikes, that's the slime room. Don't go in there, that's my slime room. Just gonna pop that there. We should be able to get the pillager out of the minecart at least. Because he's not going to take all that much finagling, is he? He also has, like, very little health left, so if he takes a point of damage on this ride, he is done for. So let's hope he doesn't. Cheap shot. We could potentially splash him with a healing potion if I had one handy, but I don't know if I have one. I think he died. Oh, no, he didn't. There were just minecarts already on the line, I guess. I was worried that he'd clipped into the side of the bastion the way the Ravager did. But it turns out I cut the line. Which is a sensible thing for me to do. Let's see if he makes it. Oh, dang it, I just broke that. Alright. Well, at least he's in a minecart now. I just, like, properly broke that. Didn't realize I switched to my fortune pick earlier. Cool. I guess the next one is going to be a Vindicator, which I think was just going to be in the next room over. So if we just block this up. So much gravel. Yeah, he needs to go in there, basically. So much junk in my inventory right now. I'll have the rails, please. Would I ever do a hardcore series? What, you mean the one I'm starting on Wednesday? No. No, never considered doing one. I think my hardcore series is going to be incredibly underwhelming for everybody. If you ever want to really confuse mobs, just put rails around stuff. They don't like it when you do that. Oh, he's another one with a banner. I don't like him when he's got the banner. I guess if I kept that lever, I could also have point switched this, which would have worked better. Cousin Vinny, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. Guess I'm going to have to pick up the banners so they don't, right? Here they come. I guess we got witches from this one as well. Got to hope a Vindicator decides to get in the minecart. Just casually takes out his friends. Any witches want to get in a minecart? Alright, we are now down to the 2 mobs that I actually want from this. With the exception of Evokers, which will probably have to happen later. Look at the tasty villagers in the middle. Anyone want to go after those villagers? Hey, one of them did. Alright, we got a witch in a minecart as well. All is good. Beautiful. Now we need more name tags, which I should have some somewhere. Just gonna go and sleep first. Well, that happened. I think I have some name tags down here in one of these miscellaneous chests. Well, I thought I did. I'm already using a lot of the ones that I had in my ender chest. I've only got one left here. The big question is, will it allow me to go back to spawn without the raid ending? Because then I could just go and trade for some name tags. I thought I had a whole bunch, but I guess over time I have been using them up. Not Lily, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. brand new sub to the channel. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Welcome to the Pixels. You are 1 in a million. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Alright, no name tags there. Fair enough. Probably not any over here either, but it's worth checking. No. Shame. Alright. Well, we'll name tag the Vindicator at least, because he, of the two of them, is the one I would prefer to keep. So he at least will be persistent while we go to spawn. Twitch is doing the thing again when I'm not allowed to have the hype emote. Twitch? What are you doing? Where you at, Twitch? Will I make this available for a world download? Yes, probably in about a month's time once I've finished doing some more stuff behind the scenes, because it's a big project and I wanted to finish the museum before the update came out, but they basically gave us like a week's notice for the update arriving, so yeah, I didn't really have enough time to complete all of the stuff I thought I was going to. I basically spent the entire last, you know... How long would you say it's been? Like 3 months or so? Looking at, I mean, before the Caves and Cliffs split announcement. Basically assuming 1.17, as we thought of it then, like the full Caves and Cliffs update, wasn't going to come out until like the end of summer. Because of how much work it was. And then when they announced the split, it seemed like, you know, potentially it was still going to be a summer release. And then they were going to wait until the winter holidays to kind of bring in the next set of features. But I didn't know, like, how soon in summer they were going to have it. And then, yeah, I guess it turned out to be a lot sooner than I expected, so... Right, 4 more name tags. Not even summer yet, technically. Yeah, I mean, summer starts on, like, June 21st, or is it July? Is it July 21st? Because I know spring doesn't really start until, like, March, right? Do you ever just stop in the middle of a raid to do some villager trading, by the way? Alright, 12 should be enough for now. That pretty much covers all of the other hostile mobs I need to have. Get some more fireworks. Summer is a state of mind. Sure is. Is meteorological summer? I remember being a kid and thinking that, like, spring started in January. You ever wanted the world to be that simple? You're like, there are 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. Spring comes first, so you're like, oh, okay, so spring just starts on January 1st then. You're like, nope. March 20th. Alright. Question of the moment, is there still a raid? Yeah, there is. Awesome. We stopped the witch in her tracks. Or on our tracks, I guess. You okay there, buddy? Interesting. You, madam. Stay there for a minute. Thanks for the regen, though. And witches curse you with the right potion. Need to keep fixing that bit of track, apparently. And what is it about that section of track where mobs just decide not to attack me? The Ravager did the same thing. Alright, now he's aggroed. wasn't gonna chance it at that point. Alright. He should be there by now. There he is. Good old Cousin Vinny. Vindicators. My car can despawn, that's fine. So we got a Ravager, a Vindicator, Pillager. Okay, the Endermite is just invisible. I can still hear him. He's just not there. Just gonna... There he is. Okay, good. So the witch is going in here, which is a very different location than we have used previously. That's more along this side. I need to be quite careful about this. Because at one point... Oh, that's good, actually. That's very good. I was going to say, at one point we are going to run into the spider jockey exhibit. And I don't want to break through the glass there, because this guy was the problem. That guy took a while. Alright, witch goes in here. The problem child. Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd assume the invisible Endermite was just an Optifine problem. Because occasionally it has those, like, rendering issues. See, all of these, like, 2-block high mobs, the ones that just have normal zombie-like hitboxes, they're the easy ones. Maybe with the exception of Evokers. Hi. Yes, yes, alright, I'm slow now. You happy? Right. So we gotta move the witch. Without her poisoning herself, ideally, but, you know, she's got health potions, it's fine. How long is that gonna last? Okay, 40 seconds? This lady. Here she comes. Fastest granny in the West. Natural health regen beats out poison, though, so we're fine. Down she comes. Beautiful. And heals herself to boot. Now, at this point, I have to crawl underneath the glass, take her out of the minecart, and try and avoid getting poisoned. Textbook. Display only. The witch. Alright, now we reroute for Evoker. Once again. But this is now the last mob that we have to have over here, so let's make it count. Ravager under here? Yep. Sure is. Sure is right there. So that means, yes, Evoker. We left the rails in there because I don't want to tangle with him once he's... Ooh! Careful now. Let's leave some torches in here just in case, because this is still not a place I really want to be trapped with mobs, or have mobs walk on the line, any of that garbage. I'll take care of you and you. Seem like the closest issues. Wonderful. We now rejoin our raid already in progress. And most of the raid mobs are just kind of standing around. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Evoker's over there having a coffee morning with the Vindicators, it looks like. Alright, that's the witch taken care of. This guy can go as well. Once again, the problem is going to be getting the Evoker to break with his usual patterns and actually come close to the center of the village so we can get him in a minecart. Man, it's really funny how quick they are to run and pick up those banners, but Evokers won't do that. To build those structures, did I do it by hand? Yes, I did. You can see me build the Bastion Rampart in the most recent Survival Guide episode. Still wondering if a boat is really going to be the best way to trap this Evoker. But I don't have many other options right now. Other than, like, looping around him with a rail. Which might be kind of difficult at close range. Because he's just going to run. Almost hit that guy. Just a little bit to the left. And then he moves. He's walking so close to the rail as well, I just don't think there's any active minecarts on that outside loop. Fishing rods? I mean, could work. Don't have one on me, unfortunately. Yikes, okay. He's found us. Did he actually summon Vexes? If he did, I can't see them, which is never a good thing. Have an exhibit with fishing rods. That's true. Could try and, like, dash through to the crafting exhibit real fast. Let me just repair my tools and elytra. He's in! I had no idea when that happened, but it did. He just happened to wander in, I guess. Okay, right. We gotta be a little bit... That's a block. That's not what I wanted, thank you. Also not what I wanted. Alright, folks. We've got this. And off he goes! Alright, let's head over to the mob exhibit and wait for him to drop in. He might get there before me at this rate. Pause, champ. Pause, champ. Something's gone wrong. No, there he is! Oh! Oh, yes! He completely missed the activator rail, but he's in! He's in, boys! Oh, boy. Alright. Well, this is going to be a problem, isn't it? Getting you out of the rail. I think, first of all, we need to tidy up the floor in there. Oh, excuse you. You're not an exhibit. Get out of here. We also need to name tag him, because I have not done that yet. So that is an immediate concern. I would actually like this entire floor to be dark oak planks because of woodland mansions. The fact that he's back there is going to make him kind of difficult for me to get to. If I played Java for so long, then I try Bedrock. You get used to playing Bedrock for so long. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that there is a decent overlap between Java and Bedrock. They're still both Minecraft, so they're effectively the same game. I can't run away from this guy. I need to name tag him. Okay, this is going to be tough, but we're probably just going to have to spawn some Vexes, name tag this guy, and then run away again. Okay. Alright, that's one. I think he only spawned two. Oh no, he spawned more than two. More than two. Three, in fact. I hate Vexes. Where's the last one? Alright, get wrecked. This is the stronghold, by the way. In case anyone was curious what the giant hole in the floor was. Alright, next move is going to be slightly more dangerous. Perilous, even. But yeah, I think I might replace more of the floor in here first. That's the block he's sat on right now. So we cannot move that. I think that'll do. And I think what I want to do is break this block. Well, the Vex got in the way, but we've done it. I would rather not die now. There's a creeper in my ghast exhibit. Alright, now all we got to do is go up there and fill up that hole and declare ourselves the winner. How often do I die? Not often. The Vexes do have iron swords, yes. And I did name tag him already. He is display only. Alright, just got to finish out the raid now. So that's a successful, after like 3 hours, a successful attempt to get all of the illagers from a raid. Dang it. Stop moving. Alright, we got one wave of the raid left, so I would prefer to sleep. But at this point now we can turn the mob switch back on. And all of those mobs should stay down there because of... Oh my days. They're on the Bastion, folks. They're on... They're on the Bastion. You ever seen anything like this? Oh, walk out over the magma blocks. Please take damage on the magma blocks. They've already lost so much health. I like how none of them are just climbing the nether fortress to get to me. They're all just hanging out down here attempting to pathfind. The Ravager turns into a Zoglin. Two raiders remaining. Are they still in the Bastion somewhere? Oh no, there's a guy down here. He is one such raider. Who's left? Your best bet is usually to walk up to wherever you think they are and listen out for sound effects. It's a skeleton. Pretty sure it's not him. There's nothing in the minecarts. Don't really have a bell handy to use. There's another totem over here. Is there a guy stuck down here or anything? Oh, I don't see anyone. There's a skeleton and a creeper trying to make a record farm. I bet there's one that's just still wandering around in the bastion. It's like a pillager or a vindicator or something. That's just still in here somewhere. Yep, I hear a vindicator. Probably further up. Just couldn't find a way to pathfind down. Where you at, Vinny? Vincent? Get wrecked. Victory! Alright, time to take all this down. Folks, we did pretty well. I gotta say that, we did pretty well. Let me, I think I took the crafting table away. Let me put down yet another crafting table. So I can make a chest. Dump all of our earnings in here. It's a saddle. Got axes. Emeralds. Don't think there's much else. So many minecarts just in one place. Like a little bit of redstone dust from witches. Am I going to keep the villagers? Yeah, they're going to be part of the village exhibit. Convert it into a children's ride for the museum. Just got to clear up all these rails now. Murder the village? No, I'm good. The plan is to bring villagers over from all of the different biomes that villagers can spawn, so we'll also have a couple from the villages that don't naturally generate, like swamps and jungles, but I want to have every variant of villager so you can see all the different outfits, and then a plains villager of every profession. So we're going to start a villager breeder over here with these two, who are already quite keen on each other, I think, from having been trapped in a glass tank for several years. And, yeah, there's 7 different villager outfits for the different biomes, because it's the 5 that naturally generate, and then jungle and swamp that don't. Does netherite armor defend you from more fall damage than gold armor? I don't think it makes a difference unless you have feather falling. There's my crafting table. Up on the roof, of course, logical. Gold armor's the worst. Yet somehow strangely necessary. Especially if you're the hot dish. Hello, Whaley. Sorry I wasn't talking to chat much throughout all of that. I do need to concentrate when it comes to combat stuff. I'm not the greatest combatant. But, yeah. Hope you all enjoyed watching that, at least. I'll probably upload this stream to my Pixel VOD's channel, just because it's going to contain a lot of the mob catching stuff that, to the YouTube audience, I will have done off camera. And so if I don't include clips directly from Twitch, people will be like, I bet you just spawned that in. So I'll link to this on the VOD's channel, so hopefully people will appreciate the effort that went into doing this in survival. What happened to the roller coaster project? I mean, it's still there, but I didn't really see the need in pursuing it any further. I feel like that stuff always works so much better. The same is true of, like, mini games and, like, carnival rides and stuff. It works so much better if you're not the one who's designed it. Because other people riding that stuff get to have, like, a fun experience of, like, their first time on a roller coaster or whatever, whereas I think for something that you've designed yourself, it loses its charm quite quickly. So I never really found the entertainment in working on projects like that. However, we are going to take a trip over there right now. Pending a quick trip to somewhere I can get splash potions of fire resistance. Possibly the piglin bartering farm. Because we have a skeleton over there wearing diamond armor, who we are going to bring back to this area. As long as I can find a direct sea route. Would you prefer I build the Enderman farm or Pigman farm for XP? Would I prefer? Like, my preference matters very little. If you want to go to the end every time you want to repair your tools, then build the Enderman farm. That's the main reason I go to the gold farm, is just how convenient it is. I go to the nether, I fly upwards, it's there. Whereas, like, going to the stronghold, going to the end, going through another portal from there, dropping down into the Enderman farm, like, it takes longer, and I think this farm is honestly better. Gets you better drops, too, because I have no real use for ender pearls most of the time. Gold is much more useful. They have other drops as well. So yeah, the piglin bartering place is where I want to be primarily. Let's put the gold helmet back on for that. That's not even my gold helmet. Yeah, I mean, it's mine now, but I think a zombie or something dropped that. And then we'll head over to the roller coaster project, wherever that was. Oh, that's right. I threw all of these away because I was just trying to farm blackstone for the bastion. Oh, I've got one there. That's a start. There's another one there. Can we get a third? I mean, we can put gunpowder in that one, I suppose. That's fine. I could have brewed fresh ones, obviously, but who does that, honestly? Who throws a shoe, honestly? Brewing them yourself is too mainstream. It's all about hipster microbreweries. Piglin-founded microbreweries. Why is there no door to the bartering hall? I mean, the bartering hall is, like, a generous description of it. It is literally a tiny room with, like, 8 piglins crammed into it. I didn't make a door for it because I didn't see the need. I wasn't going to spend a great deal of time AFK there. It doesn't auto-sort anything for me or whatever, so... Gunpowder? I guess I can do that without those present. And then we need 1 redstone dust, which I have very little of over here, but I have plenty of in my ender chest. I think it's soul speed 3 on the boots. I would assume. Okay, now I need to do a very quick, cheeky lookup of my seed on Mine Atlas. To see if the location that I built the roller coaster is connected to the area where the museum is at all, and I don't think it is. Which is going to make it very awkward to transport this skeleton. What's Mine Atlas? It's a website you can use to look up what a Minecraft world seed is going to look like. It's not great anymore, to be honest. The last time terrain generation changed significantly was in 1.8, so it's still mostly accurate, but I feel like lately it's just kind of gotten old and creaky. Chunkbase does something similar. You know, Amidst is a program you can download that does the same thing. There's a lot of them. It's a Minecraft seed viewer. Trying to remember where exactly the roller coaster place was. I think it's this way. Yeah, I've used Chunkbase for some stuff. Not for everything, but I find the individual like dungeon finders and stuff like that occasionally useful if I want to find one of those in a world. But then you can just use /locate if it's a creative world, and most of the time that's what I'm looking for anyway. The last time I actually used Chunkbase for something in the survival guide was... I mentioned it in the episode itself, so this isn't exactly like behind the scenes info or anything, but it was the episode where I went and found a stack of Hearts of the Sea. Can you see the netherite beacon? It is not assembled anymore. It is packed up in my ender chest. I can show you the contents of my ender chest later, though. See, I thought it was out in this direction. You know what? Missing a trick here a little bit. I have a map of my world, which I think includes the roller coaster project, in the castle at Founder's Forge. I should just go and look at that. Find out where that is. Why bother using mapping tools when we have maps in-game? I think I'm headed in roughly the right direction, but I'm probably off course by a degree or two. And as you get further away from center, that's going to just widen into an unnecessary margin. It was in a plains biome kind of like that, though. Like, I really didn't feel like it was that far away, but a plains biome somewhere to the north east or northwest. I'm terrible at east and west. I always get the two confused. Never really had to do much orienteering. Okay, that's not the right door. It's this one. The one that doesn't have a door. Actually has something in it. Right. End portal, desert temple, witch farm, flower farm, Loveland Forest, villager retirement home, micro build, ink farm. Did I not put it on here? Pillager tower, fossil dig site. I don't think I put it on here. Well done. There's the Swungle village. If I looked up my own YouTube videos if when I forget something, rarely, but it happens. There are a few, like, almost dead pixels on these, which I think are just areas of the map that I didn't load. Like, the occasional pixels that just show up as nothing in particular. I'm wondering if it's there. Because that looks like some brown squares that might be something. Or it might be a shipwreck even, I don't know. How long do I think the museum tour will take? I have no idea. Maybe it's that. Which is like the witch farm distance and then just kind of south. Yeah, I always get the compass directions, the cardinal directions, confused in Minecraft. I just always think of whatever direction I'm looking as north, which is not the case. Even worse when the sun is high enough in the sky that you can't really tell. Thanks, Ledor. I'm really happy that it's resonated with people the way that it has. Anyone else just have to fly through holes in a mountain when you see them at a distance like that? Okay, that's never good. I love lag spikes when I'm flying. We're really not that far away. Why does this feel like I'm generating new terrain, though? Fry, are you trying to make me never do that again? Because that is how you make me never do that again. Yeah, I have no idea where this place is. Roller coaster is at
Well, that's just
negative 11, 14, 10, 25. So I was sort of headed in the right direction. I'm just like way further south than I need to be. Right? Or further east than I need to be. Real Lighty, thanks so much for the Prime sub. Sorry you caught me in a moment of confusion. Thank you so much for the brand new Prime sub to the channel. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Welcome to the Pixels. Love that there are so many mnemonic devices for the cardinal directions. Yeah, but none of them actually, like, help you. Because it's always relative to where you are standing. Which I don't find especially helpful. I was in a plains next to a mountain biome towards the Loveland Forest. Was it really at the Loveland Forest? Or like in that direction? If anybody wants to know where my strip mines have been, fly around until you see a beacon. I think that zombie may actually have hit me. What are we looking for? My roller coaster project, because there's a skeleton there that has a suit of diamond armor. That spawned with a suit of diamond armor. I should add as a caveat. Yeah, who left this here? Free beacon. Can't I just give a new skeleton diamond armor? But where would be the fun in that? I get that earlier I argued that I shouldn't take a pink sheep back to the museum because I could have just dyed a pink sheep, but... honestly, skeletons are just a pain in the butt to do anything with anyway. And hey, if we hadn't been on this particular trip, we'd never have found all of these lovely iron blocks, which I will no doubt turn into various things. Seems like a lot of effort to take a skeleton so far. It is a lot of effort. But when have I been a person who puts a small amount of effort into things? What is the Loveland Forest? So we raised money for the Loveland Foundation on a stream around June last year, I guess? So it's been about a year since that. And for people who donated to the Loveland Foundation on the stream, we built custom trees for them. Or grew a tree and just put like a sign with their name on it attached to the trunk. So it's like a big kind of community build that everybody asked for, like specific types of trees or tree houses or bits and pieces like that. And we built it in the world. It's like a permanent feature. We did something similar for the St. Jude stream that I did in December. But for that we had a museum guest book that people signed by leaving donations. Almost made it out of that mountain in 2 fireworks. So we're a little bit off course here. We need to straighten out this way. When I find the roller coaster, will I ride it one last time? I mean, I guess. Hopefully I've left a bed over there. I think the bed there was orange. Don't know why I have a particular memory of that, but I do. See, I was kind of headed in the right direction, going past this little campsite we made at the start of 117. Not 117, 114. Let's camp for the night in this village. Kick this nitwit out of bed. Oh no, there's monsters nearby. Help. Done 2 raids in this. You think I can't take on a zombie? Get out of here. Alright. Now we will actually be approaching the roller coaster when it is daytime. There it is. There it is. Where have you been all my life? There's another beacon here. We're on a beacon tour of the server, the world. And my original scaffolding box. Oh, the rails as well. Ah, the French. Imagine, I left my OG scaffolding box at a project that required a lot of scaffolding. Most fragile roller coaster ever, yeah, pretty much. Well, it doesn't all originate from one piece of scaffolding, or that would be pretty incredible if it did. Let's ride the rails. There's probably tons of mobs in here. Hello? Sorry, folks, there was a bit of a hold up on the line there. Oh no, lava! It's a ravine back there. Then we suffocate several times on the way down. Ah. Mobs! Help! One thing I would really love there to be, and I get that there are ways of doing this with redstone power, but I would love for a more simplified way of controlling the speed and direction that you are looking, or the speed that you travel and the direction you are looking as you ride a minecart. Zombies in the nether? Seems unlikely. But yeah, I do think there is just not quite enough control to make minecarts viable as a thing. And we've got to pull the lever as we come into the station. Perfect. Gonna leave that there. See, there's an orange bed. I don't know how I remembered that. And a lot of netherrack, I guess. Oh, and a mellow high music disc and a Power 3 book. Also, tons of redstone. Wow. Why did I leave all this redstone here? Because it turns out I'm very forgetful. Some ghast tears. A lot of pufferfish. 21 obsidian. Let's at least collect the beacon from this, because we don't need the beacon anymore. And then in here, we have this lad, who is ostensibly the reason we're here in the first place. Camera should change with the change in minecart direction. Yeah, I have a feeling that would still be quite disorienting, which may be why they haven't done it. But even then, like, you've got to be very particular about how you design your roller coasters. Do you know what the odds were of getting that skeleton? I don't recall. Yeah, yes, McBlunderface, I think he is named Neil Diamond. I don't know much about Neil Diamond, so hopefully that hasn't aged poorly. How do you transport skeletons? Right now that guy's in a boat. We could keep him in a boat and just try and row him out to the ocean and then around to the museum if it's possible to do that. Alternatively, we can put him in a minecart. That's going to take a long time. We have a nether portal right here, so we could potentially try and transport him through the nether. It's a Sweet Caroline sing-along has started in the chat. So at least make sure I'm picking up the iron blocks. Break the scaffolding. I love when people come into my stream and tell me to destroy things I took hours to build. To be fair, breaking one piece of scaffolding is going to break, like, a column here. That's going to be it. Hey, 2 beacons now. So, fun fact about undead mobs. The fire damage they take from burning in sunlight is basically the same as fire damage you take from being set on fire. There is no difference between the two. So if you splash them with a fire resistance potion, they don't burn in the sunlight. Unfortunately for me, none of the rivers around here seem to lead out to the ocean. And even if they do, I don't believe this ocean really... Well, I don't believe any of the water around here really connects to the ocean that my museum project is connected to. I'll have to do another quick look at Mine Atlas for that. Now I know where I am. Because we're about there, right? 1064... 1000, yeah, so we're about there. Museum is up there. So basically I need to take this skeleton... like about 500 blocks north. Possibly more than that, actually. Like 700. Is the mob switch back on? No. Fire resistance protect the helmet from breaking? That's the thing, I'm not certain it does. Make a backup and transport him through the nether. Yeah, I've been making backups most of the mob moving operations we've been doing. So yeah, I'm with you there. I tell you one thing we can do. We're going to leave this guy here for now. We're not going to do this on stream because, yeah, for a start, I do want to make a backup first. But one thing we can do to close out the stream is do what we were doing when we started the stream, which is look for red foxes. See if we can get one of those over there. Because I still have my shopping list of other mobs. If nothing else, I can get some llamas over to the museum. I need llamas. So this is how far we would have to go with that skeleton. Out to here. And from here, the ocean is contiguous. So it's basically like across a swamp, a birch forest. Could carve a path through that. I honestly think it might be more pleasant than bringing him through the nether. But I have to toss him a weakness potion as well, because I'd be being shot by arrows the whole way. It's going to be easier to make a tunnel through the nether and just use his AI. Have him follow me the entire time. I think. Do. If only we could lead boats in Java. Just had to check my elytra durability. I wasn't sure how long I'd been flying for. Yeah, I could breed some foxes at the pub. I could do that. But it does take a very long time to row stuff over from Founder's Forge, especially when I can find it elsewhere. I already have an Arctic fox over here. We have a shulker, which we brought over on the last stream, who is tucked away down here somewhere. Oh, there he is. He's right there. Just like laying back in the boat. And down here, because I parked it in a different spot to avoid getting hit by the shulker, we have an Arctic fox, who I actually rode over here on camera. And over in some of these directions, we do have spruce forests. This is more of a mountains biome, but right here... Oh, the mob switch isn't on, is it? Is this like mountain edge or something? Wooded mountains. So this isn't going to have foxes in it, because it's not strictly speaking a tiger biome. I do like the Arctic foxes a lot. I am slightly biased towards foxes in general because of them being, you know, around. Well, yikes. Getting a charged creeper is going to be fun, by the way. Not entirely looking forward to that, but I think that's something I'm going to do, again, after multiple backups and then probably off camera. Here's something we can do. Cool, we got one. Get tagged. How about polar bears and pandas? Yep, getting those two. Getting those two. Got to drive the panda a long way. So we got the Enderman. That's a nice easy one. Get every tropical fish. I think there's about 40 different individual ones that aren't just color variations of each one. And I was considering getting all of them, but I think it's going to take a long time to do, so I'll probably just get a few tropical fish as examples and then attach a sign that says, asterisk, there are more of these. These occasional lag spikes as I load the world in. Need to get a dolphin at some point. I think squid are ironically going to be one of the hardest ones to get hold of and then keep. Because right now in 1.16 there's not a whole lot you can do to actually move them around.
That's just prime.
Other than get them in a minecart, and the minecart can't go underwater. Or the minecart can, but the minecart rails cannot. DJ the Builder, thank you so much for the 7 months. Love the survival guide. Thanks for several years of great content. Here's to many more. I can't remember if I missed this or not, but Wookie Chew, thank you so much for the 6 months. Sorry if I missed that one earlier. Am I going to get the axolotl variants when they release? Yeah. I already have one on the SMP that I joined. First episode of that is going to come out on Sunday. Oh, no, Saturday. Sorry, Saturday the, I want to say 12th of June. But we started the server in the pre-releases just so we could get our hands on stuff nice and easily. And not be like releasing rushed videos. Am I starting a raid at the museum? We already did it. We have all of the raid mobs in the museum mob exhibit now. And now I'm just winding down looking for foxes again. I feel like this tiger is just a bust. It's not got any foxes in it. Bit rubbish. A lot of wolves. Couple of turtles down there. I won't separate those from each other, but we have another turtle in the vicinity of the museum. How many in the SMP? 10, I think. It's a fairly small group. How do I think of the name Pixel Riffs? It was kind of based on a YouTube channel I used to have called Wiki Riffs, which only has a couple of videos that aren't made private still on it, but the idea was that I went to Wikipedia every week, clicked random article, and wrote a song about whatever came up. And the riffs part was like reference to guitar riffs, like a songwriting project kind of thing. When I started making a YouTube channel for gaming stuff, I decided, hey, maybe I can also make like electronic music and chiptune kind of stuff, like video game sounding music, and Pixel Riffs can be like a kind of cross between gaming videos and music videos. And then I realized that the gaming stuff was really what I wanted to do, because I feel like there's the difference between like a musical project for me and a video project is that the video project feels like it's constantly moving, whereas like if inspiration doesn't strike me for musical stuff, I tend to get very like apathetic about it and I don't want to do any more on it. Whereas I feel like the video stuff, especially with a game like Minecraft, you can just constantly create. It feels like a much better flow of things for me. I think what it also comes down to is the fact that I'm not the most talented musician. I don't really still make music at all. I don't really have the time with everything else that I do right now. Between making videos for my own channel, doing streams, the podcast, the Hermitcraft recap, like YouTube video production and streaming and podcasting is like 100% of my time. Element Animation does music videos. Good for them. You find imposter syndrome a big problem with music? Yeah, I expect a lot of musicians feel that way. The old why me scenario, right? Alright, this feels like a new-ish tiger. I don't have a boat anymore, but I do have the stream's 50th crafting table that I can craft myself another boat with. I find it strange. Does anyone else find it strange that Java never got the boat crafting recipe that required a shovel? Or it did, but I think it got reverted. Like, why? Honestly, like, I don't feel like it should have included a shovel to begin with, because, like, that's a funny joke, because the oar in the boat does look like a shovel, and it would make sense that you were paddling with something, that being a shovel. But requiring you to make a tool before you can craft a boat just seems very, I don't know, counterintuitive to the way the rest of the game works. Famous boat clutch would have been impossible with the shovel. This is true. Got one. Oh, there's two. I chase you down. I chase you down. It's about the speed the foxes in my backyard move, actually. Realistic. It's a whole family out here. No, I'm clicking on you with the lead. Come here. I feel like the music is appropriate for this. Alright, got one. A fox attacked your dog yesterday? Oh, I'm sorry. It's got a babby. Luckily, once it's on the lead, unless there's chickens around, foxes are pretty good at following you. Because I will need to get this one back to the coast. Thought Sonic was the fast one, not Tails. They're both pretty fast. Depends entirely who's controlling Tails, am I right? Seriously doubt a fox attacked a dog? I mean, why would somebody lie about that? It's my only thought. Alright, now you've got my lead in your mouth because the lead broke. Fair enough. Keep walking, though. Don't think this river leads to the ocean either. We can at least get Fox in boat, though. Makes them slightly easier to maneuver. Get away, Squid, get away. Can you just fly and land in water? It's possible to do that sometimes, but the fox is rare enough that I don't want to risk it, and also you have to fly a certain way because the takeoff is too fast, and sometimes it just breaks the lead. I'm not used to transporting mobs that way, so I'm not going to really attempt it. Shout out to the aerial sheep service, though. Really should have brought that bed with me. An orange bed, too. It would have been perfect for the foxes. Be so careful not to chop the fox with the axe. Guess just up here is going to be the best way. I only sort of think I know which way I'm going, but I may have been right. What's going on? We're taking a fox over to my museum where I have an exhibit of all of the mobs in the game. This is one of the many we still need to get. But now we're out onto the open ocean, we should be able to make it back. How many foxes do I have? Like in the game? I have an Arctic fox now, and this one. In real life, there are 4 or 5 foxes that live in and around my backyard. Hey, the Vixen! How appropriate. Thank you so much for the $5. But yeah, I have a handful of foxes in real life that live in my backyard. They're wild foxes. They just hang out because my garden is relatively sheltered and quiet. People asking what the fox says. Do you really want me to play the clip again? Alright, I'll do it. Somebody says please do, somebody else says please no. So, while we're out here in the middle of the ocean and there are no drowned spawning around me, right? This is a clip of my backyard foxes doing what they normally do in the evenings. Foxes. They're cute until they do that. And then they keep you up for 3 hours. And resume. You now know the answer. I'm sure there are people in the chat who will thank you not to ask again. Sounded like birds. They sure do. Just very, very loud, yappy birds. Jonas, thank you so much for 13 months. Unlucky for some, very lucky for me. Watching on your phone/TV because your laptop broke. Oh no. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you can get it fixed or get a new one. But yeah, always a pain when technology fails you. I sympathize. Oh, you thought I was going to play the song? Axie Nim, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. Wow. Out of nowhere. Very generous of you. Thank you so much. Folks, you just got gifted a sub. If it's your first time, enjoy your brand new emotes and your sub badge and the next 30 days of ad-free viewing here on the channel. And make sure you thank Axie Nim for that very generous sub gift to the community. Man, I love approaching this structure now because, I mean, look at it. It's actually starting to look how I imagine it in my head. You know? Like, as a museum. It looks like this in my head. And so, like, yeah, I'm so happy that it's actually starting to come together as a build. Obviously, it's happening right as we make the change over to 117, so that's going to be a little while longer. But in the meantime, I think we're making some good progress. Let's go in the front door with our new friend. I would go and bring the Arctic fox in as well, but we'll do that later. I saw a skeleton behind it. I was like, wait a minute, is that a spider jockey? Nope. Thank goodness for that, because we've already got one. I told them we already got one. If I just... Oh, there are monsters nearby, of course. The Enderman is there in the boat. What's next in Minecraft RTX series? Bunch of time lapses, bunch of cool builds. It's not going to be for a little while, though, as we make the transition to 117, and hopefully the folks who make RTX resource packs will end up updating. Don't. Alright, Fox, you are here. In which case I'll probably need to get a fence. Don't take a fence. Okay, good. I was worried about the fox eating the chickens. They have a habit of doing that. Alright, I'm going to leave you tied up there because foxes tend to leap. And so I have a feeling we'll probably want to like close that stuff off. I made a distinction between cat and ocelot here. Which I think we will find is worthwhile. Because they are different now. You can't tame ocelots anymore to get cats. They spawn in different places. They behave differently. Does sort of make sense to me, you know? Let's go for a little ride with my friend. Alright, this zombie is going to be a problem in a second. Glad I made this with enough headroom for our buddy here. Sorry about that. Never pleasant to have your boat ride interrupted by the screaming hordes of the damned. No, the Enderman isn't angry anymore. Once you get out of aggro radius for them, they tend to chill out. I can't lead a boat in Java Edition. It doesn't work in Java. On Bedrock, yes. On Java, no. The Enderman looks more creepy from behind. Kind of does. Here's your home. Now, the Enderman is one of the few mobs we are going to have to keep in the boat. Cat Food, thanks so much for the 100 bits. And saying the museum looks really nice. I'm glad you like it. Because the Enderman will teleport away if he is not kept in a boat. But as of right now, he is display only. But this is how you keep Endermen from teleporting around. Is you put them in a boat. With the unfortunate consequence that he doesn't always look around. And when he does, he rotates his entire head. Very creepy. Alright, let's recap what we've done on the stream, because I'm about to wrap up. It's been nearly 4 hours, but I wanted to get a ton of this stuff done. So, yeah, while we do not have the Arctic Fox in here yet, I will just be able to lead him up from the boat. We have our Orange Fox here. And then as far as mobs in the regular hostile mob exhibit, we have a zombie, a skeleton. We didn't get a spider yet. The spider jockey is in there. We have a baby zombie and a baby zombie chicken jockey. It's even a baby zombie villager. We got the witch in there. We still need to get a stray. The husk still has a creeper visiting, which is kind of nice. That's the actual creeper, and we need to replace the sign there because it got destroyed in the earlier explosion. We don't have the cave spider or the stray yet. We have a phantom here. The endermite has disappeared again, but he'll be back. And of course we got the pillager, the Ravager, the Vindicator. The Ravager's probably going to have to stay in that minecart, but that's fine. You can still see his face. We got the Vindicator there. I can move the Shulker in at some point. We got an Enderman, our Evoker, our big body, the Slime. And there is room here for some of the nether mobs with a skeleton, a blaze, a ghast. I'm just going to build a big nether portal behind here and then try and lure in a ghast from the other side. That's all we're going to do for the ghast. We'll get a Zoglin in there as well. And a skeleton horse, of course. Which I'll probably have to ride over from Founder's Forge. Because I have a couple around there. There is going to be a piglin bartering exhibit, which will end up going through the portal too. But, of course, no real time for that before the survival guide ends. But I think we've got a decent amount of progress done. It's clear the intent behind this exhibit. It's clear how a little bit more work will have it done. And, yeah, I think we're going to have a good time. The other thing here, which I haven't explained on stream, I don't think, because I've done it more recently, is that in this direction, if you step down from there, if we tunnel all the way out in this direction, this comes very close to the ocean monument, which right now actually has guardians spawning around it because the mob switch is off. So, yeah, I'm probably going to trap a couple of guardians nearby and put them in a tank adjacent to this, along with squid, the different types of fish, probably turtles. We'll have to separate the squids and the guardians because they'll kill each other, or the guardians will kill the squids. But yeah, I want to have basically like one of those aquarium tunnels that you walk through, basically. Like maybe a coral reef kind of scene on one side and a cold ocean scene on the other. We'll have dolphins swimming around. But the top of the ocean monument there basically lines up with where this tunnel exits, give or take a few blocks horizontally. So we're going to have the tunnel stretch all the way out to the top of the monument there, and there's still an Elder Guardian inside of that because I haven't touched this monument at all. So eventually you're going to be able to walk out there and you'll be able to walk straight into the top of the temple room where the Elder Guardian will be hanging out. Yeah, that's the plan at least. But once again, I am going to have to do a lot of this stuff in the between times while I'm working on a new series, which means, honestly, the survival guide might pop up on a couple more streams because I'm still going to be tinkering with this world in survival, and there may be some stuff that I want to save for doing on camera on YouTube, some stuff that I don't want to stream. So maybe this won't be the last survival guide stream, but chances are we're going to be focusing on the 117 stuff as of Tuesday's stream. And I think on Tuesday we might end up doing what I said we were going to do, where we can watch through like all of my old episode 1s together to get excited about 117 and new series and everything, which is going to include episode 1 of the survival guide. I've never really done anything like that before, so I'm interested to see how it turns out and see if people like that kind of trip down memory lane, as it were. But thank you so much for being here on this stream, and if this does turn out to be the last survival guide stream for a while, thank you so much for watching me stream the survival guide. This has been a genuine pleasure. I've put so much of my time and effort into this project, and I feel like you guys have put so much of your time and love and support into the survival guide. It's the project that has made Minecraft my career and allowed me to do all of the stuff that I do. So I owe all of that to you, and it's just a genuine pleasure to stream for you guys and make videos for you guys. And I have a lot of fun doing it, and I hope to continue doing it for as long as I feasibly can. We're going to raid Mr. Beardstone. Because I haven't raided Beardstone for a little while, and he is playing 1.17 hardcore, so if those of you who want to get excited for 117, looks like he's probably on the release candidate version. If you want a bit of a preview of what I'm going to be doing in my life, 117 hardcore is very much it. Mr. Beardstone is a lovely man if you haven't seen him on his streams before. A lovely British gent. And I hope you guys will have a good time over on his stream. Don't forget to use your Pixel Hype emotes and the hashtag PixelRaid to show some love. I'll be back next time on Tuesday with something a little bit different. Until then, take care. My name's Pixorus. I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.